Okay, so we're live. This is the first time I've used my special new technology, so I'm assuming that it's all good.
Okay, so we're live. This is the first time I've used
Let
my
me.
special new
However,
technology,
now I can hear
so
myself. That's
I'm
no good.
assuming-
Let me turn that down. There we go. That works better. Now let me see if I can go into my page so I can make sure that I can see myself and grab the comments at the same time to see as they pull up. So I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes to see if you guys are on, and also if you guys can hear me as well. That would also be helpful. Ooh, Marcy Masters. She's the first to connect. I love it. I love it. I love it. So there's a huge time delay on this. That is the only drawback to my fancy new border that you can see down the bottom here. But can you, please, Marcy, tell me if you can hear me okay? And by me turning down my little volume thing, it hasn't actually muted me, because that's also not helping. You're smushed for me. Oh no, I don't want to be smushed. Hang on, let me see if this helps a little bit. Tell me, Marcy, like this is the beauty of you being first. You can help me with all my technical issues. Oh no, look, no, I'm smushing the wrong bit now. Let's get the right bit. Okay, so am I now no longer smooshed? Let me see if this works. You get to see all the fancy editing that happens. Right, now I'm going to go back. Tell me, am I still smushed? Cool. Sandy can hear me. That's all really good. Widen it. Oh my lord. Am I at least visible? Yes, I know there's probably a black border on it, but as long as you can see, like, what I want to know is, for the moment, and clearly I need to do this with you, Marcy, another time to actually probably test this out before I go live, but can you actually see my face? That's the most important thing to me, to make sure you can actually see my face. As long as that's the case, I don't mind. It's all good. So I'm just going to get stuck in, because I think otherwise we'll be here for ages with me fiddling about with my view. So as long as you can see my face, that's the main thing. So I have come live to you today from my beautiful business page to talk to you guys about the integral step to becoming a leading expert. And now this is something it's so important, and it's something that is totally in alignment with my zone of genius, and that is finding your speciality. If you don't have a speciality when it comes to positioning yourself, then you are absolutely never going to make it as a leading expert, because what are you actually an expert in? That's what's really important. Marcy, you said yes. I'm assuming it means you can see my face. That's perfect. I've had to turn myself off, however, because watching me on a delay is properly distracting. So now I'm having to ignore my own face. But finding your niche is absolutely integral to your success as an expert. And how do you find your niche? This is a question that I get asked a lot. And I know this is something that Marcy and Sandy, I'm working with both of them on, who are both at very different stages in business. One of them is a startup and the other one is a little bit further along. And it's important at every single stage to revisit and to make sure that you are in alignment with where you're going. So you don't look like a jack of all trades. Secondly, so it's super clear what you do, because the worst thing that you can be is somebody who's just bloody confusing. How many times do we speak to people and we ask them what they do and they really cannot verbalize what that looks like and what that is, because they're fluffing around it. They're really struggling to pull the words out, and it tends to take them a good minute or two, maybe 3, to actually even get anywhere near to explaining. And even after that, you're still asking questions like, I still don't get what it is you do. So finding this clarity on what it is that you do, so you can succinctly say, this is who I help, and this is what I help them achieve, and this is the problem that I help them overcome. If you can get those things checked off, you know that you're really clear and you're communicating exactly what it is that you do. But what you don't want to be doing is, when you're delivering that authority statement, is that you're going into the ins and outs of absolutely everything. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to what we call ourselves, when it comes to trying to explain everything that we do, we could go on, for yonder years. Because when Baker in the wrong group, hilarious. This is what happens when you move everything over to onto your page. So you need to make sure that you are keeping it really succinct, really clear and snappy. Don't get caught up in names. Don't get caught up in what you call yourself, or what you call your group, or what you call your page, because really you can never explain it in just a few words. What's really important is that people understand what it is that you do. That is the main thing, because if people don't understand what you're doing, you're never going to be able to get your point across. In terms of all the frilly bits, the power, the punch, everything else that goes behind it, that is delivered in the way that you show up, because nobody is you. Everybody is a unique concoction of skill sets, personality, almost innate attributes that you were born with, that all combine together to make who you are and how you come across. No one else can be you, and there is no way that you can explain all of that in just a statement or in a name. But you do have to be able to communicate clearly what it is, first and foremost, to make sure that other people understand off the bat what it is that you do, who it is that you help, so they can at least look at themselves and say, okay, am I that person? Is this somebody that I need to listen to, or is this for somebody else? And even if it is the latter, then you know that they can then refer you on. What you mustn't be scared of doing is doing the latter and scaring off a potential market, because at the end of the day, you are not here to serve the entire world. Your ideal clients will be a few select people. I know members of my family and other members, in terms of my wider network, not including business people, because it tends to be that business people know who this person is. But there are a few people out there who don't even know who Tony Robbins is, who are like, who the hell is he? To me, I'm like, how can you not know who this incredible person is, who has impacted the world in such a big way? But at the end of the day, he is serving a specific type of people, even though he is still helping a broader and wider variety than, say, somebody would be at the beginning of their journey. He's still serving a select few people in the world who actually, want to be a part of his circle, who want to follow him, who believe in his message, who believe in what he stands for. And what I don't want you to do is get into the Tony Robbins syndrome. Let's call it that. I'm going to dub it today as the Tony Robbins syndrome. I'm actually going to talk about it in a negative way. Not because Tony Robbins isn't amazing. Of course he is. But what we tend to do as people is we look at Tony Robbins and we go, wow, he's so amazing. I want to become the female version of Tony Robbins, or I want to become the next version of Tony Robbins. And yes, I don't believe that you can't not be the next version, because you can never be him, because he is him in his entirety. We are all unique. But if that's the kind of who you're striving to be like, you need to understand that you can't start where he's got to. In the beginning stages of you becoming visible, it's extremely important for you to niche it and get really specific, because even Tony Robbins didn't start helping people with the wide variety of things that he now does. He specifically started with something smaller, more unique, more niche, more specific, so that he could then build that trust, build that expertise, and gain the trust of the wider following. Because in the beginning, you're going to be speaking to the early adopters. And you may have heard various different people who have spoken about early adopters, Simon Sinek being one of them. He talks about early adopters in his famous TED Talk, which if you haven't watched it, go and Google it, after my live, of course, go and Google it or find it on YouTube. But it's incredible, and he explains it very well in there, which will give you more of a background to why I'm talking about what I'm talking about. But the early adopters are the people who are totally bought into your mission and your message because you are relatively newer to them. So for instance, for a lot of us, we haven't hit that real true high profile status just yet in terms of you hitting the mass market. And if you want to hit the mass market and you want that high profile, you've got to start in a way that's slightly counterintuitive. You have to start in a way that builds that trust and gains that trust with the early adopters who believe in what you believe, who absolutely resonate with your message and desperately need your help with that specific thing. Because if you're not specific, it's very difficult to get the results, because it's kind of like setting a GPS, right? So when you set your GPS, you have a specific destination. If you don't set that destination specifically, how do they know that they've received the results that you set out to get in the first place? It's very important to focus on the transformation and on the outcome that you want to achieve for somebody. So very, very briefly, I'm just going to quickly describe to you, for those of you who get confused on what a niche is, or perhaps may understand what a niche is but have forgotten, because what a niche isn't, it's not about labeling a group of people and saying, I help entrepreneurial mums. Okay, that's who I help. Okay, that's not a niche. You've specified a group of people, but what you've not done, which is what the niche is specified what you're specifically helping them achieve. What result are you getting, and what is the problem that you are solving for them in order to get to that transformation? So it's about bringing it right back to being really specific about where it is you're taking them from and where are you taking them to. Because if we go back to the GPS example, if we just set our sat nav potentially just to, I don't know, the country, we might end up going to the country, but whereabouts specifically within that? And that's what I mean when I talk about going in your niche 3 layers deep. Now I'm going to briefly explain to you what that 3 layer deep thing actually means. So you've got the 3 main markets. You've got wealth, health and relationships. Specifically when it comes to service-based businesses, we tend to serve in one of those areas, but it's not enough just to go that first layer into one of those markets. So let's choose, for instance, and I always choose health because for me it seems like the easiest thing to describe and the thing that we can most relate to, because obviously health is very important to all of us, right? But if we're helping people within the health market, we then need to think about the next layer down. What specifically within health are we going to be helping with? Because there are many different facets to this. We've got people who are perhaps suffering from specific illnesses. You've got perhaps help with hormones. You might want to be helping with weight loss, which is another huge market within the health market. Weight loss is another massive one. 2 seconds while I take a sip of tea. Or a bit of spicy chai, lovely. You've got to go that next layer down. So you've got into, and again, it's easiest to use. Let's use weight loss as the example. So you've got your health market, you've got another layer deep into weight loss. Now within weight loss, you will see that there are many, many people who are out there, all trying to help with weight loss, all trying to help people achieve that result. But they will all have different ways of doing it. So it's about presenting what we call a new opportunity. So it's about positioning yourself away from the rest of that market and presenting something to them, because what they will be doing is they'll be looking at that and going, oh yeah, but I've tried to lose weight before and it didn't work, or I've tried this and I've tried that. Your ideal client will most likely have tried to do these things perhaps by themselves, and they may have even gone to other professionals to help them achieve the results. And what they don't want to be doing is going and trying the same thing again, hitting the wall and trying to throw, spaghetti at it and hoping something's going to stick. They want to know that what they're doing will be different this time. And so it's about presenting them with a new opportunity, and it's about positioning yourself so you're not in direct competition, so that you can give them something new. The reason why it didn't work the first time is most likely because of this, and this is the focus of my program, of my package, and this will help you. So for instance, and I'm going to be very transparent, and it's all within integrity. It's not like, I'm just coming up with something for the sake of coming up with something. The way I come at what I do, there are other niche experts out there, and there are other ideal client experts and whatever else. The way I position myself away from those people is firstly by saying the reason why I'm going to be helping you with your niche and your ideal client is to help you position yourself as an expert. So I'm actually telling them the outcome. Finding the niche is the process, and I'm actually providing them with an outcome. Second to that, there may be other niche coaches out there that can help you, but I specifically have a big focus on finding both an aligned niche that's in total alignment with your purpose, and making sure that it's money making. Because what happens a lot of the time is that other niche coaches will help you find perhaps your purpose and the thing that you want to do, and another coach might help you find specifically one that seems pretty popular at the moment and something that might make you a lot of money because it's all the rage, or so on and so forth. But what I help you do is combine the two, is help you turn your purpose into a money-making niche, so that not only you make money from it, but it also feels in alignment with what you're doing, but it hits both of those angles. And also showing you that niche really is very little understood. It's not something that actually a lot of people, that it's something that people glaze over. They're like, okay, my niche is like I said, my niche is helping this particular group of people. No, it's not. And they really haven't drilled it down. And when they look at it from an outsider's point of view, it still remains pretty vague, and it still really isn't as specific as it could be. And how specific is too specific? Well, there really isn't any way that you can go too specific. The question that I would ask is, does it matter to you that it's that specific? So let me just give you an example. I talk a lot of the time about me helping other coaches. I talk about that because it helps people to provide context themselves, to go, yeah, that's me. But I also help mentors, entrepreneurs, trainers, who are all kind of along that same band, to help them provide them with their niche. And again, it provides that context to it. Does it mean that I'm going to particularly turn people away if they come to me and say, I'm, from this, a mentorship background, and I want your help to help me do that? I'm not going to turn them away, not because I'm too scared to, but because I absolutely can help them. And coaching and mentorship, we could go on all day about the ins and outs and whether it's, what's different and what isn't and all that malarkey. I'm quite liberated when it comes to the word coach. Personally, I'm a coach, consultant, mentor, all kind of rolled into one. I have to use something, otherwise no one's ever going to really understand what it is that I do. And the coach best fits the environment that I'm in, and it's the one that best fits for other people to understand what I do. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to turn that person away who's a mentor, because it doesn't matter to me to turn them away. There are other people, for instance, who are in product-based businesses who I wouldn't help because it's not within my expertise. I'm not within integrity because I don't know the product-based business environment, and so I absolutely will turn them away. But it's the money is not worth it. What's important to me is that I can get big results, and I can only get big results for people if I'm helping them within my expertise. So whenever you're worrying about, am I too niche or this or that, you can never be too niched. And the more specific you get, the more the more of an expert you become on that topic. And when you work online, you've got the whole world at your fingertips. It's not like you're going to be cutting anyone out necessarily in terms of if you were to be that specific potentially within your locality and refuse to take yourself online and refuse to give yourself that visibility, then yes, absolutely, it would be a bit silly. But then so's not using the internet at the end of the day. You're missing a massive trick if you're not putting yourself online. So swings and roundabouts. But you can't get too specific. Being specific is really fine. But does it matter to you to have that? Sometimes we can create a rod for our own back when it comes to getting specific. So for instance, I see this a lot where people will use the word, I help mums with overwhelm. That is such a common thing that I hear all the time. That's my niche. I help mums with overwhelm. And really, that's not what it's about. First of all, that's massively vague. And second of all, it seems like the only reason that people tend to choose that label of I help mums with overwhelm is because the mums thing is very easy for that person to relate to. And so it feels better to them to be able to help that person. And that's fine. But the overwhelm side of things, it's so vague. Overwhelm with what? Overwhelmed with the kids, overwhelmed with their business, overwhelmed with their job, overwhelmed what specifically? It's so vague. So you've got to really, really start to drill that down and really understand, does it matter to me to help this particular group of people? Now, let me just give you an example here where I didn't help men when I first started out. Not because I couldn't, but because it felt more comfortable to me for me to help women. So it absolutely mattered to me that I helped women, not men, because I was more comfortable at that stage in my business. Now, for whatever reason, it really doesn't bother me to be helping men or women. It doesn't matter to me anymore. And it doesn't matter to the expertise. It doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. And this goes the same, for instance, people saying I help mums in business. Why mums specifically? Does it really matter? Does it bother you to help a non-mum? For some people, it might be the same issue. It might be the fact that they're just not comfortable helping people who aren't a mum. But what happens more often than not in the journey, they will drop the mum title because really it isn't about them being a mum. The kids really don't have much of an impact on, whether they're a businesswoman or not. It's not about that. It's about the problem that they have, which generally isn't to do with the children, and the outcome that they want to achieve, again, generally has nothing to do with the children. So there's a fine balance between what you're comfortable with and what really truly matters. So it's about weeding that out. But the worst thing you can do is be vague. It's unbelievably vague. Your outcome needs to be totally desired and really specific so that A, you can position yourself as an expert, and B, you can make traction in your business. Does this all make sense? And does anybody have any questions on this? I'm just going to read through some of the comments to see what's been said, and so I can answer anything on that. Wen says, Jen, I have hit a mega block at the moment. I don't know if I'm confused about my ideal client or confused about who I am. A very numpty question, I know, but any advice? I'm confused and can't move forward. Oh, well, Wen, first of all, thank you so much for coming forward and letting me know. I can't help you with that because I don't have enough background information. I'm just going to read once more to see if I've got any more clues. I'm confused about my ideal client or confused about who I am. A very nuts question, but my advice and confused, I can't move on. So you need to tell me a little bit more about what the block is. Like, where is the problem? So first of all, Wen, tell me what, and this goes for any business, whether it is product based or whether it is service based. What is the problem that you are solving, and what is the outcome you are achieving? I don't know whether you're still on or not, and if we don't get it on here quick enough, we can save it for the group and we can pop that in to the high profile legacy leaders as a question that I'll answer on my Q&A. But I need a little bit more background, I think, before I can actually help you through that. But I absolutely can answer it for you once I get a bit more information. But if anyone else has any other questions, do let me know. For those of you who aren't in my group and are wondering what the hell the numpty box is, the numpty box is basically a online box where people can submit stupid questions. Now, before everyone goes, whoa, Jen, that's really out of order, I don't actually believe in stupid questions, but what I do understand is that other people may feel a bit uncomfortable about coming forward with certain things and may feel like, well, that might just sound like a dumb question. I don't want to be the one to ask it. So this numpty box provides you a space where you can come in and submit those questions absolutely anonymously. So if you want to get in touch with me via that route, excuse me, then all you need to do is click the cover photo on my page and join the group, and you can submit and be a part of those specific Q&As that go on inside of there, where you can get really some real tailored advice to your situation, which is what I'm suggesting that maybe Wen does. So that's what that's all about. So there we go. That's my my live for today. If you've got any questions, pop them below, and I will say what she said. Okay, yep, it's hard to write. Yeah, that's fine. I definitely want to send me more information on when. But yeah, so if you would like to join me tomorrow, I'm going live as well, and I think I'm going live exactly the same time as I went today on a new topic, and I will let you all know what that topic is going to be and what I'm going to be talking on. If you ever would like any kind of any ideas for trainings or whatever else, not that I'm ever short of things to talk about, just let me know and I'll do my best to run a training on it for you right here on my page. And secondly, something else really exciting that's going on at the moment in my business is that I am running a giveaway where you get the chance to win a laser coaching session with one of our leading experts. There are 7 of us, me included, to help you stand out as the expert. As an expert in your field. That's what my session's about. I've also got other people on there like Liz Melville, who's going to help you to raise your engagement on your Facebook page. I've got Julie coming on, the money coach, to help us with investments. I've got Jessica Lorimer, the 7-figure sales and leadership coach, supersizing your sales. This will be a one-to-one coaching call that you can absolutely win. So if you'd like to take part, it's in the pinned post at the top of this page. All you need to do is enter and then share, because the more times you share it, the more chances you have to win. So there we go. That is me for today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will speak to you all again soon. Take care.